Hey everybody, welcome back to the Magic Channel. Today we're going to talk about one-way markings. Now, what does that mean? So let's say you have the back of your card, right? And on the card, it's usually the same on the top and the bottom, same on the left and the right. So it wouldn't matter the orientation of the card, it would always look the same. But sometimes you can get trick decks or magic decks, special decks that are printed that have a mark on top but not a mark on the bottom. Now, why is that important? Well, you could have all your cards on the table and they could all be the same direction. You could turn your back and the spectator could take a card, and when they returned it, it could actually be now facing the other direction. And when you glance down at the table, you'd be able to see which card had rotated just by looking at the mark. Now, of course, every deck does not have a one-way mark. I'm holding the Rider Back 808s from United States Playing Card Company, and they are not a one-way back. But if you don't already have a one-way back deck in your collection, I'm going to teach you how to make a one-way back with a red Rider Back and a red Sharpie. So before we get into the trick, before we get into the tutorial, go grab your red Rider Back and a red Sharpie, and let's begin. Okay, so we got our red Rider Back card, and you'll notice there's lots of places that are designed with white, right? So with a red pen, there's plenty we could fill in, and certainly you don't have to follow my directions. You could do yours any way you like. I'm going to show you the system that I like and that has worked for me in the past, but again, after I show you this tutorial, you could do anything you'd like. What I do is I darken the center circle on that flower and the center circle on that flower. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why I like that because it's on both sides, is once it's darkened, it's not as easy to see that its mate down at the bottom isn't darkened because it's so far away. But the other great reason I like it is that it's not just one mark, it's two. So that if I were fanning the cards from left to right, one flower would show, and if I was showing the cards from right to left, another flower would show. So this is good for left-handers and right-handers. So we're going to take our Sharpie and we're going to fill in that center dot right there, and you're going to go slow and you're going to go very carefully. When it's still wet, it's going to look a little darker, just like that. And really how I do it is I don't just sit there and scribble. I kind of just tap like that over and over again until I kind of feel like I've got all the white space, and then I just shake it and I blow right on the surface, and I just give it a little time to dry. And then we just do the same with the other side. And so now you have a top that is marked with two red dots, and you have another side that's not marked. Now, the bad news is you have to go through the entire deck now, right? You have to go through all 52 cards and mark them. But this is easy to do. You just, put on a TV show and you just sit there on the floor and go through the cards really slowly, one at a time, and you spread them out as you mark them. Don't stack them on top of each other because the ink could still be wet and the ink could go through to the other side, and you don't want that. So kind of lay them all out, space them apart so they don't touch each other until you're sure they are dry. So now that you got your completed deck and you're all set with a deck of one-way cards, let's learn a magic trick. All right, so the first thing you want to do, you're going to make sure that all your question marks are going the right direction. Obviously, if this is a one-way back design trick, you need all your cards going the same one-way direction. Okay, so that's key. Okay, and then you have to know, right? You have to know which direction that is. And you could do a couple of shuffles at this point, just so long as you remember you're going to keep the question mark going in the same direction. So you could cut the deck this way, you could tap, and then interweave the cards together that way. So an end-to-end shuffle is going to be your best bet, right? Okay, so let's say you're going to have a card selected. Okay. The easiest way to do this so that it works with the one-way back design is to fan the cards, okay? So you do a fan for them, and you hold the cards out, and you can say pick a card, and they pick a card, all right? Let's just say they pick the 8 of diamonds, all right? So they pick the 8 of diamonds. We'll hold that off to the side. When you close your fan, you're going to actually close it in the opposite direction. So you'll close it in this direction, and as soon as you do that, your cards have been reversed. So this is not an obvious like end for end, or you're not rolling it, you're not spinning it, you're not saying, let's give the deck a little spin. By doing that, you're not calling any attention to it at all, and it's completely subtle, no one's ever going to see it. Now, a card trick like this, people might assume you're going to use a key card, and you're not. You're actually going to turn your spectator's card into the key card. Okay? And that's not something your spectators normally used to. So again, you're going to fan the cards. They can take their card, the 8 of diamonds. And of course, now the question mark is going to be going in the opposite direction. Okay? And as they put it in, you'll be able to see if the question mark is going in the opposite direction. And if it's not, that's a good time to stop and change it up, probably. But as it's going in the opposite direction, you can close it up, lock it away, and then at this point, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do a shuffle, I wouldn't do a cut, I wouldn't do anything, because I think at that point, you might be alerting them that you have a key card in play. And you don't have a key card in play, so you don't want them to suspect that you do. You could sit the deck down on the table, or you could just hold it in your hands like this, and just start dealing the cards down to the table one at a time face up. And you're telling them, you're going to watch all the cards go by, and then you're just going to think, okay? Think the word stop when you see your card. So you're going to deal through the cards one at a time, okay? And all the while, you're not looking at the faces of the cards at all. You're looking at the question mark, and you're waiting to find that one question mark that's facing the opposite direction. That's going to be the 8 of diamonds. You don't know what it is at this point, but you're looking for that question mark. So when the question mark shows up, and you turn it face up and see it on the table, then you remember 8 of diamonds. You remember 8 of diamonds, and then you turn a couple more cards, maybe 3, maybe 4, and you kind of pretend that you passed it by, and then you stop, as if you're getting a feeling about this next card. And you say, what do you think that the next card I turn over is going to be your card? And they say, no way, I can't believe it. And then you go to reach for the deck, then you hesitate, go over to the table, find the 8 of diamonds, and turn it face down. And that is the trick. All right, so that's our trick for a one-way back design. I hope you learned something, and that's really why we're here at the Magic Channel. We want to teach you magic tricks just to get you started, just to get you up and running. Be sure to check out the other videos on this channel. They're all beginning level tricks. They're all entry-level tricks. They're all very simple. There's nothing hard. There's nothing difficult. Lots of self-starters here. Be sure to give us a like and a follow, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.